Part 2
is two of the key points that are relevant to what we're talking about today. First, the idea that corruption can only exist if things are inherently good, arguing that if everything wasn't good at a fundamental level, then nothing could be corrupted. Everything would just be inherently evil. The second point is that corruption itself isn't a tangible thing. It is just the absence of goodness. How does that relate to our silly sock puppet video game? Well, the puppets, the characters that used to dazzle children the world over, were always good, and mostly still are. They were living the message of being a friendly neighborhood. It's why when they see us and start chasing us, they're not saying horrible things. Their arms are stretched out wide for a hug. They're not trying to hurt us, they're happy to see us. They want to be friendly. It's only after the show was canceled and they were exposed to the evils of the world via television did corruption start to seep in. And those good things, like a hug or a child-friendly message, became twisted, corrupted, hurtful. And those were the lucky ones. Eventually, the puppets that became too exposed to the horrors of the world transformed and morphed into the amalgamation of evil that we see during the game's final battle. And the connection to this random theological text isn't just the story of the puppets. The game is trying to tell us that we humans are also inherently good. Throughout the game, we repeatedly see this corruption sneaking into not just the puppets, but to the adults of this world. You have your parents writing in to say that the show's selfless messaging might be bad. General Rogers argues that a wise man is a selfish man, and the actor who left the show after becoming more concerned with his future than that of the show. All of these characters have let things like the war and television corrupt them, make them selfish, capitalistic, and thanks to that, the good morals of My Friendly Neighborhood, the light that the creators mentioned in his farewell message, has been snuffed out. And just like St. Augustine said, corruption is the absence of good. And so with that good gone, the world becomes worse.
Gordon, look at this city. The buildings are dark and the streets are empty. No one knows how to be a friendly neighbor. It's a city of shuttered up hearts, and they need someone to let in the light.
The new iPhone 17 Pro.
After going through this studio and seeing all the wonderful puppets and themes of the show, at the very end of it all, he's still worried about how the show's pure messaging is gonna hurt the children.
I don't want you broadcasting, Ricky. You're gonna hurt kids.
Humanity's turned away from the goodness and the light that the show tried to pass on to children. The game makes one point very clear. Even though the adults questioned what the show was doing, even though the bigwigs were always focused on the bottom line, the show always remained beloved by the pre-6 age demographic. The children, born pure and uncorrupted, continued to enjoy and find value in the show. The kids weren't the ones who lost their way, it was the adults who became so corrupted by the evil and negativity around them that they turned into the very thing that they were fighting to avoid. I mean, there's plenty to be said about the level of trash content that just exists these days. We're more interested in watching things like Real Housewives or The Kardashians, stuff that focuses on drama and negativity. The most popular podcast genre is true crime, with 50% of Americans saying that they listen to it, a genre that's focused on the bloody and the gruesome. You even see it here on this platform. Negative titles and thumbnails commenting on the latest drama. Those are the ones that get the clicks, not the positive skewing stories, the uplifting bits, the educational bits. That is the world that we've built and the world that we're choosing to focus on. But at the very end of the game, if you complete the game's best ending, we can see that there is hope. If you choose to save all the puppets and agree to help Ricky reboot the show, you get this little gem prior to the credits.
It's like you've been lost in a tunnel until suddenly a voice calls your name. And you turn around, and you see the rising sun. And it's so bright, maybe it hurts a little to look at, but you don't care, because it's leading you home.
By remembering the good, by focusing on the positive, it shines a spotlight on us. And sure, it highlights our issues, and yeah, that's super uncomfortable, but it's way better than just falling into darkness. This game is a warning for us not to shut our hearts to the needs of others, to focus on the good of the world. We too can have Gordon's journey back to the light, because at the end of the day, we all started from a place that was good. And sure, while the world tries to strip that away from us, we have to stand up to that. We have to face it. We have to remember that the most important thing is to love our neighbor. And sometimes all it takes to remember that is an abandoned studio full of living puppets. But hey, that's just a theory. A game theory. Thanks for watching. If you're interested in finding more hidden stories inside of unique indie games, check out our video on Pizza Tower. Believe you me, there is more than just pizza in that tower. Or if you fancy jumping into the latest that Mascot Horror brings to the table, hop on over to GT Live where I just played through and dissected every frame of Security Breach Ruin. I've got a theory or two coming up in the next couple of weeks, so make sure you're subscribed to the channel so you're notified when that one comes out.
See you next week.